We're going to start this episode with requested or rejected. Ian, keep it fresh. Let's do it.
All right, topic number 1. So, are we missing, or this is more of a question, do you like bold gestures and or moves, statements? You know, they could be pickup lines, like bold gestures. We're talking like knock you off your seat type gestures, requested or rejected.
You going first or am I going first?
I want you to go first.
Absolutely requested.
Yes.
And I think that absolutely necessary in today's dating environment because the pool's gotten way bigger, right? I mean, when we were young, you're going to a bar, there's all the people in the bar.
That was the pool.
That was the pool. The pool has gotten huge.
Yeah.
And there is a desperate need to stand out.
Quick question. How many were in your high school class? Because you and I, neither one of us are from this St. Louis.
But I graduated here.
Okay. But
so I grew up outside.
Let's talk about Kentucky.
So I went to a smaller school in Kentucky, probably in my graduating class less than 200, but not as small as yours.
Yeah.
Here it was huge.
Don't be talking about the size.
You brought it up.
So 200. That really influences, in my opinion, one of the ways like I think about dating is because it was easy to be to stand out because I was in such a teeny tiny little area and I never really moved to the big city until I moved to St. Louis.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I will say I probably didn't really date a whole lot in high school. For me, it was college. But the premise that you're speaking of still holds true. That, of course, when you get to college, it's even more people. Your pool gets actually bigger. And so you do learn what you have to do to stand out.
Okay, so before we move on, and this is in fact, probably the first time I actually asked Ian to start with this topic. I believe that bold, intentional, scary gestures are missing on this earth.
Yeah.
And especially in dating. So, without totally putting you on the spot, and you just heard this like 2 seconds ago, can you think of and give for instance, of a bold gesture?
Absolutely. I actually had one in mind. So, this was a few years back. So, I've been in the dating pond for about 12 years now after my divorce. A few years back, I had gone out on a couple of dates, 2 or 3 dates with a guy that I knew was really feeling it. Probably feeling it more than I was. Just truth in that situation.
Are you undateable, Angela? No.
I did just say I've been in the dating pond for 12 years.
Okay, fair enough.
So I knew he was feeling it a little bit more than I was. We met on a dating app. We both knew that we were on dating apps. I got invited by a second guy to go to a baseball game. And this guy lived in Illinois. I live in St. Charles. He had an hour drive.
Great, everybody, 9 billion people just heard where you live.
In St. Charles.
So, noted.
Cut that part out, Ian. But so he drove an hour, and he was insistent. This guy number 2 was insistent because he I always lead with I'm a Southern girl. I've got very traditional values. He came and picked me up to go back to a baseball game. So I mean, this was a pretty bold gesture too. But that's not even the bold gesture I'm talking about. So guy number 1 had a sneaking suspicion that I was on a date, right? He knew that he didn't know who, he didn't know what, but he had a sneaking suspicion I was probably on a date. I come back to my house from date with guy number 2, and there's a huge bouquet of roses sitting on my front porch.
Oh,
this guy thinks, and
yes!
You know what?
I want to meet this man.
He was going to walk me to my door and absolutely get a kiss because he drove from Highland, Illinois to St. Charles to the ball game, back to St. Charles to go back to Highland, Illinois. And it was like 24 roses sitting on my front porch. So, yes, that is probably easily the boldest.
Oh,
and
my
I got to tell you,
gosh.
my thoughts about guy number 1, I was already impressed with guy number 2 because he went certainly the extra mile. But my thoughts about, a lot of extra miles.
Literally.
But my
An
thoughts,
extra 100.
I tell you what, my thoughts about guy number 1, I liked a lot of things about him. There were some concerns that I had. But after that, I thought, All right.
Oh, he crushed it.
Game on.
That's like putting your boot on somebody's neck. Like, you know what? How dare you take this girl out? I'm going to let my presence be felt.
And I'm going to tell you, guy number 2.
So bold.
Guy number 2, who had been barking up my tree for weeks prior to that. We had a great date. We had a really phenomenal date. Never asked me out again. We became great friends.
I wouldn't either.
We became great friends. We're great friends to this day. He got married. We still, talk about life. He's a phenomenal guy. He never asked me out again. And we had a great date. Up to that moment, we were going to end with a great date, but it just this great date just went like it crashed and burned.
Wow.
So yes, not only was that a bold move, but it was a funny, smart, bold move.
Oh, it was
Like
so smart.
he just nailed it.
Oh, I can totally get why you brought that one up.
Because there was no lose for him, right? Either I wasn't on a date and I was going to come home
There
to
was
a
no
big
lose.
ass bouquet.
Gosh, dang, smart.
Yeah. Or I was on a date and I was going to come home with a guy.
Hey, do you remember when Mark was here and he talked about competition?
Yes.
This is it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Fireside. Fast
Well,
and
you
Furious.
didn't even answer yours.
I'm not going to.
I think
I can't beat that one. I got
wanna
nothing.
hear.
But urine accepted. That's a given.
Oh, huge.
I just wanted to hear.
Requested for sure. Bold gestures and statements, absolutely.
Requested.
Absolutely
Absolutely.
How
requested.
does the producer of the show get it wrong? Not accepted, requested.
What did I say?
No,
Oh,
no,
requested.
I got it wrong.
Get it right, Ian.
I got it wrong.
Ian,
All right,
what
hot
are
topic.
you?
Hot topic.
So we're going to talk about the 5 love languages. So this is probably Bobby's favorite topic in
I
the
love this
entire
topic.
world. But it's surprisingly it's been 5 episodes and we've kind of touched on it a few times,
Yeah.
but we've never actually talked about it as a main topic. So here we go. Requested or rejected.
All right, so I'm a huge requested. Here's why. I know that I probably come off as sort of a simple Midwestern boy, but I read a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel comfortable saying that here because now I'm actually an author.
Right.
So I feel like I can say it without it sounding smug. And out of all of the books that I have read, Dr. Gary Chapman wrote The 5 Love Languages. I've read that book 5 times.
Yeah.
It is the one book that I have read more than any other book in my life. It's very rare that I'll read a book twice or even review it a second time because I'm a junkie. I just want to push it through the system and go on to the next.
Right. Much
That
like your
one,
dating life.
like it seriously in my nightstand at home. You can pull that book out and a couple others, and that book is actually marked up.
Yeah.
Not only marked up, but marked up from different years that I have read it, both while married
Yeah.
as well as single.
So it's interesting that you
Huge
bring-
request.
Yeah. It's interesting that you bring that up. So I have an interesting story about the 5 love languages in that book too. So I'm a natural studier. When I become curious about something, I love making it on project status. And so I went through a divorce that was pretty devastating. I mean, I will fully admit I left my divorce a pretty broken person in a lot of different ways. I had probably been divorced about 18 months when I first read the book. So my marriage had absolutely ended. Like there was no going back. You know, we were not going to rekindle anything. But I read the book.
I want to
Yeah.
emphasize something. You read this book for the first time after your marriage.
I did, but that's what I'm actually.
Whereas most often it is recommended, referred, and touted, studied, and educated upon in a Christian environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Connect groups, small groups, whatever, in the context of marriage classes.
Well,
So I think that's really cool. I just want to highlight that.
Well, remember, I've been divorced for 12 years. True. So the book was really gaining popularity around the time actually that I got divorced.
You're right.
It took me a little bit of time to read it. My ex-husband is also a very smart, very studious person. But I read the book. And I was so transformed and touched after I read the book. I felt like, they always say you just don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And when I read that book, it was like this, everything had lifted. It was suddenly visible to me, all the things that had been missing. And I actually called my ex-husband. Again, we were totally done. And I said, you have to read this book. I said, I tell you what, I firmly believe.
Talk about bold gestures.
I said, I
man.
firmly believe that had you and I read this book when we were married, we potentially actually might still be married.
Together.
Mm-hmm. So, yes, absolutely requested. I think that it is a transformational book that even if you're in a struggling partnership now, reading that book could totally transform that partnership.
What is your love language?
So I have two that are very high, and the rest are very, very low. And my very top one is actually words of affirmation, but very closely followed by physical touch. They're 1 point apart at the very top of the scale.
Have I told you that I think you're fantastic?
No, but
have
you
I
can
told
tell me
you
again.
that you are absolutely amazing?
Oh, you're speaking my language.
Oh, she played right into it. That's so awesome.
I feel all
That's
glowy and good right now. Like I'm all oozy and good.
So, okay. I know we're supposed to rapid fire, but this one's a topic. So, let me share something with you.
What's that?
You and I click really well.
Yeah.
We're in the same industry. I don't make money writing a book. I have a real job. Words of affirmation is last for me.
Is it really?
Like, I don't need from anybody. You don't need to I don't need my ego stroked. I don't need you to tell me what a good boy I am. Now, look, I like accolades, right? But I don't have mommy daddy issues. I don't need
Nah, hey now.
No, listen.
Hey now.
But this is coming from the other side.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if I were partnered, mated with someone whose love language is words of affirmation, like for me to give that person a daily affirmation, like I would have to go cerebral.
You'd have to think about it.
Oh my gosh. Now, my love language is physical touch. Duh, I'm a dude, right?
I have never met a man that didn't have physical touch as either one or two. And I tell you what, for the women out there, like, listen to me. I've never met a man that did not have physical touch as one or two.
So
like, we got to be paying attention.
I've met
to that.
Gary Chapman in person.
Oh, have you really?
And had a private one-on-one conversation.
Oh, interesting.
So, and I'm going to butcher the percentages here a little bit, but just for fun. They're going to be fairly close. 97% of men are physical touch, and 3% of men make up the other 4.
Yeah.
3% of women
have that as their top.
Are physical touch.
What comes behind physical touch for you? I would imagine it would be, is it acts of service?
No.
Really?
I don't need people to do shit for me. I am a self-sustaining, symbiotic organism. I do my own stuff. I do my own laundry. You don't have to do shit for me.
Yeah, but you don't want somebody tagging along all the time either, so it can't be time.
It's quality time.
Is it really?
I'm a golden retriever.
That kind
If you're my
surprises me,
person,
actually.
I am going to run and jump on you and lick your face and bury my head under your hair and lick your neck.
That's interesting to me.
And I'm going to hop in the back seat of your car and travel with you wherever you want to go.
So
I'm a dog.
That's really interesting.
I'm a golden retriever.
See, I want great quality time, but I don't need a huge quantity of time because I got a lot going on.
I'm in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm not needy, but
mommy and daddy issues.
Yeah.